fans, it's almost time for a kickoff as defending champions Bumpy Pitch takes on LCF Academy in tonight's round 3 men's stage play. TST rules are as follows. The teams will play 2 18-minute halves, followed by target score time at the end of the second half. We'll set a target score by adding 1 to the leading team's goal count. The first team to reach that target score will win the match. And during target score time, 1 player will be removed from each team every 3 minutes. And now, fans, it's time to meet tonight's starting lineups. First, for LCF Academy. Defender, number 8, Michaela Zena. Defender, number 19, Diren Gunai. Midfielder, number 21, Kaniho TLM. Midfielder, number 17, Juanan Gallego. Midfielder, number 30, Gilles Vidal. Forward, number 15, Guto Capellini.
Somewhere between a World Cup, a block party, and absolute mayhem sits this tournament, and that's exactly why everybody loves it. For 4 more days in Cary, North Carolina, reputations are built at full sprint. Goals arrive from impossible angles, and players chase a prize big enough to turn competitive fire into an inferno. Welcome back to the 4th annual TST soccer tournament, and hello again, everyone. My name's Christian Philemon, known throughout this little soccer world as Philly. And after an opening day that moved at the speed of a pinball machine on espresso, we get set for the final matches of day 2 and match number 79 from Wake Med Soccer Park. This game is a Group A matchup featuring the top 2 teams, the defending champs, Bumpy Pitch FC taking on LCF Academy. Couple of housekeeping items before we get into the players. This is TST rules, 2 18-minute halves, no offside, no slide tackling, no throw-in. Subs can come in frequently, no games end in a tie. The dimension of the field, 65 by 45 yards with a goal 6.5 feet high and 18.5 feet wide. LCF, stands for Lake Constance Football out of Switzerland. 1-1 in the group stages. 4 goals scored, 4 goals conceded. Bumpy Pitch, on the other hand, a perfect 2-0. 8 goals, 4 goals allowed with a goal diff of 4. This is the defending champions that you're witnessing on your screen, and this should be a good one. Our players to watch on Bumpy Pitch, it's got to be the man that scored the $1 million goal in TST last year, Charlie Gonzalez. 7 goals and 2 assists in 10 career games. A 2025 TST champion, and a 2026 Major Arena Soccer League champion with the San Diego Sockers. For Lake Constance Football Academy, Gilles Vidal, the player to look out for, the 2026 Kings League Germany MVP and champion with No Rules FC, a 6-time Kings League match. Taking a look at our starters, first for LCF Academy, in between the pipes, Mark Briones, Michelle Zena, Diren Gunai, and Diego de la Mata Rojo, otherwise known as Canino DLM, along with Juanan Gallego, Gilles Vidal, and Guto Capellini. Your starters for Bumpy Pitch: Hugo, a.k.a. Brandon Gomez, Cesar Cerda, Cristian Gutierrez, Martin Lara, Alan Perez, Charlie Gonzalez, and last year's Golden Boot winner, Christian Borja. Bumpy Pitch FC is wearing the greens. LCF Academy is wearing the black with the gold numbers. Your officials for today are Mo Kalea and Blake Gibson. We are moments away from the start of today's game, game number 79 of what after this tournament will be 159 games. And we are underway live from Field 2 here at Wake Med Soccer Park, the home of the NWSL's NC Courage. Group A, between the top 2 teams. The knockout stages have almost been set. Just 2 more games on the docket this evening before we start the madness tomorrow. It's The top 2 teams from each group, and then 8 additional best 8 from teams that didn't finish in the top 2 will round out the amount of teams that you'll be seeing in the knockout stages. Every team had the opportunity to play 3 games in the group stage, and only a select few will get to continue on and play for that bag of money. $1 million on the line. For LCF Academy, this is their second time in TST. They did not make it out of the group stages. They were in Group D last year with Boca Dallas, Dueling for Lincoln, and Newtown Pride. LCF Academy was established in Los Angeles in 2019, but rooted in eastern Switzerland. As stated at the top of the broadcast, LCF standing for Lake Constance Football. For Bumpy Pitch, wearing the very stylish Bumpy Pitch jerseys with the Slurpee sponsor on the crest, or right by the crest. It's the defending TST champs. Their path out of the round of 16, beating Villarreal, beating Quick Goal, beating Drip in the semifinals, beating Pasha Luxury, and then what most people would consider an upset, unless you are a member of Bumpy Pitch, the win against Pumas de Alabama, who was tearing it up at TST last year. Bumpy Pitch is really a creative brand, known for clothing and now incredible small-sided soccer. They mix fashion, music, and soccer with one another. And Bumpy Pitch came to play not only in the men's division, but they have a team in the women's division and a team in the mixed division. For the first time ever at TST, there will be a mixed division featuring all-star talent. And we're going to have some really awesome matches, which we're going to start to see more of tomorrow. Bumpy Pitch nearly cleaned up shop last year. The men won the tournament. The women were very close. But as we know, competing and watching the women's division, it's the U.S. soccer team on the women's side that has swept through things here at TST. Will they carry on with a three-peat? Well, you're going to have to tune in and watch. There's Charlie Gonzalez. Charlie Gonzalez sustained an injury during the Major Arena Soccer League season that ruled him out for a few games. But he's back, and he looks like he is sprier than ever. Again, the game-winning goal against Pumas de Alabama last year. He's one of the best players, really, in the Major Arena Soccer League. He's had an 11-year career. As we see Brandon Gomez. Brandon Gomez last year was the 2025 TST Best 7. Played 3 seasons professional indoor soccer with the Empire Strikers. Empire out of Ontario, California. And a lot of the players on Bumpy Pitch are from the 2 Southern California MASL teams, the San Diego Sockers and the Empire Strikers. And there was an exhibit right there of number 17, Mitchell Cardenas, passing to Brandon Gomez. Brandon Gomez connects with Justin Stinson. Justin Stinson last year played with West Ham United, which is pretty awesome story considering when he was younger, he got to go to London and train. Open opportunities. Martin Lara spins out of trouble into Stinson. Stinson who had a goal the other day. Just an electrifying, dynamic player out of St. Charles, Missouri. Over a year ago, nearly led the professional arena rankings in terms of goals scored. Stinson, who normally would have a different color hairdo for all these competitions, has arguably his most conservative hairdo that I've seen in 6 years of calling games. But Stinson, another, just like Charlie Gonzalez, one of the best midfielders as the pass comes into Brandon Gomez. Talking an awful lot about Bumpy Pitch thus far, mainly because, well, they've controlled possession. As far as LCF is concerned, looking at the games that they played, they lost 2-1 to Leggio FC. And then they beat Cardinal Legacy. Cardinal Legacy, the team made up of Stanford University Cardinal alumni, sitting currently in last place in Group A, with Leggio FC sitting in third, LCF Academy in second, and Bumpy Pitch, the only team with no losses to their record in this group. Cesar Cerda, wearing the number 29, recently won a championship with the San Diego Sockers. And shout-outs to all the fans tuning in from San Diego. Cerda, the captain of this Bumpy Pitch team, another incredible indoor soccer player. Also is part of the Mexico World Mini Football World Cup team that won in Perth, Australia in 2019. Gomez to his counterpart on the other end, Max Briones. And now finally, with nearly 6 minutes expired, LCF has possession. Pass in. And a goal! Right out of the gates, barely with any possession. And it is Geronimo Martin wearing number 11 who scores for LCF Academy. What a pass. What a goal. Brandon Gomez and the rest of his back line got caught momentarily with their eyes down on the ground, ball watching as opposed to ball defending. Speaking of balls, the official ball supplier of the TST is Voigt.
LCF now leads tonight's match 1-0 over Bumpy Pitch.
So a solid start. It only really took less than 60 seconds worth of possession for LCF to answer in a near golazo by Bumpy Pitch. That sails wide and into the stands. Bumpy Pitch going to bring in some new ammunition. The pass goes back to Briones, who competed in Kings League in Spain with POFC in the split 6. Also played in the Kings League World Cup with plenty of teams like Scions, Porcinos, Miami 7. Out of Spain. Stinson on the counter, passes it forward. Cardenas, and the save by Briones. LCF regains control. Bumpy Pitch now operating as the aggressor. I mean, they have been the aggressor as Martin Lara feeds it back to number 14, Andy Reyes, and it gets worked all the way around to Mitchell Cardenas. A lot of these players do compete on the same team throughout the year, and a lot of them also compete throughout tournaments all across the United States. Talacha is the term given to playing in a lot of these smaller tournaments where the cash prizes consistently week after week can mean a lot of money to a lot of these players. So a lot of the players coming out of arenas like Kings League, like the MASL, like Pumas de Alabama, perfect example of that. A team that stuck around for a while. Are they from the state of Alabama? No, but that is their name, Pumas being one of the biggest clubs at a League IMX and the fan favorite of the owner of Pumas de Alabama. These guys go all around the country competing and winning huge cash prizes. As a soft header comes towards Brandon Gomez, taken by number 17, Juan Antonio Gallego, also known as Juanan. Played in Kings League Spain with teams in Spain and the MENA division, which is an acronym for Middle East and North Africa, if I'm not mistaken. Pro in Spain. That's the official blows the whistle, and we're going to see a number of new players heading back onto the pitch. Approaching the halfway mark here in the first half, and LCF quickly stunning Bumpy Pitch after barely hanging on with possession. The defending champs, though, have been in situations like this before. As Lara, the aggressor, coming in, it's going to deflect off and out. Martin Lara, an MSL champion with the Chihuahua Savage. Chihuahua Savage in 2024 had a lot of their players on a team that won this tournament called La Bombonera. Martin Lara has played football rapido his entire life out of Baja, California. Also competed in Kings League Mexico with Peluche Cagliari and Podba. 36 games for them. We just saw Podba Football Club beat Quick Goal just a short 45 or so minutes ago. Podba, along with Kings League All-Stars in Crew and Furia, teams that compete in the wildly popular Kings League. Kings League, one of the most viewed leagues on TikTok. In fact, the third most viewed league on TikTok after the NFL and the NBA. Bumpy keeping it on their end. Official blew the whistle, but I'm not sure if it was the whistle or somebody in the crowd, because it didn't look like there was a quick play, and we just resumed the action and the activity. Oh, I think it was for a substitute. I get the clarification. It was for a substitute that came on before it was warranted. See, number 4, Christian Gutierrez, now commanding the attack for Bumpy. Gutierrez Played indoor with Atletico Baja. Started out with Club Tijuana. Andy Reyes, long veteran of the professional indoor arena ranks. Reyes did his youth academy with Nomads, the popular Nomads Youth Academy, a youth club in Southern Cal. Taft College and Cal State San Bernardino. There's an attempt and a save by LCF. Mark Briones getting his paws all over that attempt. And he's looking good in between the sticks. See Munir Alami connecting back with Reyes. Alami played with Morocco's U19 team on the outdoor 11v11 world. Also played professionally in Morocco's top flight. Was an MASL Newcomer of the Year candidate and was the leading scorer for a team he's been playing on for the last 2 years, known as the Empire Strikers. Team that features the likes of Justin Stinson and Andy Reyes and several others that are competing throughout the TST, Brandon Gomez being one as well. Jose Bebe Gonzalez, the brother of Charlie Gonzalez, feeds Stinson on the left side. Stinson into the box as that one gets pushed back. It was Koni Nzana, played Kings League in France. 11 goals and 10 assists and 3 matchday MVPs for a team called Athletic Dragon Blanc. Most recently in TST with Sakharov, a big-bodied target forward. Him and Christian Borja, sizable players for Bumpy Pitch. Charlie Gonzalez tries to skirt it into the box, does not connect with his intended target, and it's going to go back into the hands of Mark Briones. Had an incredible save just a couple of minutes ago. His first half flying by quickly. We're not too far off from the 13th minute. Running clock, just as a reminder. No offside, no throw-ins, no ties. These ties suck. LCF making another run. And it didn't take much for them to get their last goal. They were threatening the last time they made it this far into Bumpy Pitch's defensive end. Nothing to show for it on that attempt. As Gomez puts it back into play. Over to the captain, Cerda. Cerda to Stinson. As stated, Stinson played with West Ham last year. Lake Constance Football Academy. Doing what they need to do with standing the pressure that Bumpy Pitch is pushing towards them and just beating them on counters with mistakes. And a fine sprint, nearly 45 yards by number 10 on LCF, Nick Salihamidzic. Salihamidzic is the son of Hassan, who had an incredible career playing in the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. As the pass chested and taken down by Brandon Gomez. Salihamidzic, his dad, just finishing off the thought, played with Juventus and Wolfsburg, but his son Nick with Bosnia's U21 and is part of Bayern's reserve team. Also played with Whitecaps 2 in MLS. Another turnover recovered by LCF. And they're playing their cards incredibly well. Bumpy Pitch is yet to lose here at TST, but with so much more soccer to be had. Not playing as a team that is feeling any kind of stress. Back out past the midfield and over to the keeper. So that was number 43, Steven Kodra, who, like a handful of others, played in Ballers League. In this case, it's Speed United. Played in Germany. The cross into the box, kicked out of danger, by Leroy Nzaguzzi, who was on Bumpy pitch last year. Leroy would have 2 goals to his credit during Bumpy pitch's incredible run. Leroy was at the Sporting Kansas City Academy before becoming a first-team Missouri Valley Conference player with Drake University. And in 2016, he was the Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year in high school. So Nzaguzzi, dynamic talent for Bumpy pitch. Reyes over to Cerda. Cerda to Cardenas. About 2 minutes to go between now and halftime. If one were to calculate the amount of possession that Bumpy's had, it's got to be right around the 80 mark. As gets punched out of play by Briones. Pass back out to Cerda. Cerda to Gutierrez. Golden Gutierrez, as he's known. Golden Gutierrez had a game-winning goal that enabled him to get a game-winning fleece when they beat Leggio 4-1. Bumpy pitch would take on Cardinal Legacy, winning 4-3, and it was Cesar Cerda with the game winner and the golden fleece. For LCF, the goal that they had when they played against Leggio was an own goal.
Corner kick, LCF.
The corner kick opportunity here for Lake Constance football with under a minute to go here in the first half. And that's played off of Reyes. LCF just taking their time. They're looking at the clock. Not in any rush as they're sitting in a position of power as Darren Gunoy set to take the corner. And Brandon Gomez belts it out of trouble. Cerda to Nzaguzzi. Nzaguzzi gets bodied off the ball and into the boards. We see the benches clearing as the Bumpy pitch team not thrilled with what appeared to be a hockey-like check into the UNICEF dasher board. And now does the soccer.com dasher board. And head on over to soccer.com to purchase your TST merchandise. Now, cooler heads need to prevail right there, but both teams just fighting for it. And incidental contact, one could argue, or I'll leave it up to your judgment. But out that touchline, and it's going to be LCF with potentially the final opportunity. Take that back as it just fell past the foot line of Darren Gunoy. And the official blows the whistle, indicating the end of the first half. The defending champs, despite controlling possession, find themselves playing from a behind spots, which is not something that they've been accustomed to, courtesy of a goal from LCF Academy early on. We're going to step aside for halftime, only about 5 minutes and change, and when we come back, we got some second half stats for you, folks. We hope you're enjoying the 4th annual TST tournament on YouTube. We'll see you on the other end of this break.
All right, fans, we are just a couple of minutes away from the start of the second half. Remember, TST will be using target score time this evening at the end of the second half. A target score will be set by adding 1 to the leading team goals count. The first team to reach that target score wins the match. Once again, fans, tonight's bumpy pitch. Defending champions are in the green kits, and LCF are in the black kits. We are about to start the second half. And here we go.
Welcome back to the start of the second half here from Field 2. Live from Cary, North Carolina, Wake Med Soccer Park. It is bumpy pitch taking on LCF Academy. We'll quickly go through these stats at halftime that happened in the first half. 2 shots for LCF with both of them being on target. Bumpy pitch, 6 shots with 4 of them being on target. And it was LCF's number 11, Geronimo Martin, drawing first blood less than 7 minutes into the contest. Well, that is currently how the result stands. As Brandon Gomez, who scored some bangers in his days playing at TST, passes it on that right flank to Martin Lara. There's Briones aggressively sliding and keeping it in his hands. Lara quickly sprinted up, and it's going to go into the hands of Gomez. Gomez rolls it quickly as bumpy pitch on the attack. Pass takes a ricochet over to Justin Stinson. Stinson, when he dribbles the soccer ball, it's as if it's glued to him like a yo-yo to his feet. Incredible dribbling skills. Pass into Golden Gutierrez. Gutierrez finds Stinson. Stinson can easily find a quick spin and break his defender's ankles or put them in his pocket. Pass into Borja, last year's Golden Boot winner. He was battling with quick goal Sebastian Giovenco. Giovenco didn't even play nearly as many games as Borja. Borja. And the shot saved. Borja. It's going to come out to Stinson. Stinson. And referee blows the whistle. Stinson not very happy. And so it's going to be a free kick here for bumpy pitch. Look for them to try to float it into Borja. Borja, who is much bigger and stronger than a lot of the LCF players. I'm just judging that based on physical appearance and nothing more than that. Borja was best 7 at TST last year. 7 goals. So multi-time, or first-time, 2011-2012 Serbian Cup winner with Red Star Belgrade. The free kick saved. And the amount of times we called Mark Brion's name, we had a nickel for it. We'd have a lot more nickels. Quickly played into LCF Academy, who's not maintained much possession, but has been deadly. And see the hustle by Nzaguzzi. Great hustle as he was trying to place pressure on LCF Academy's keeper. Unfazed. But on that pass across the midfield, no one in sight. So an unforced turnover for Lake Constance football. Cardenas now in Reyes. Andy Reyes talks fondly about his time learning the game of football at Taft College. That was before tearing things up at Cal State San Bernardino. Alan Perez, who we now see back on the pitch, started the game, the former UCR Highlander. UCR is in UC Riverside. Perez was part of the championship team from last year. 5-year professional. Last year had his best season. 13 goals, 8 assists. And Lara gets stripped. On the run is Lake Constance football, and they score! What a banger off of a counter! And LCF once again goes from turf to twine. They take a 2-goal lead. waiting on the official confirmation as to who the goal scorer was, but what an emphatic goal. And as they did in their last goal, LCF just waited for Bumpy pitch to make a mistake, and then he capitalized on it. So a goal scored by number 30, Gilles Vidal. Gilles, who's that MVP from Germany in Kings League. He scored just the other day. Gilles Vidal was my player to watch for LCF Academy, but we got started so quickly that I didn't even get to give you that portion. Or maybe I did. Alami loses it, and just another sloppy play for Bumpy pitch. Not playing their best soccer this evening. They had to wait a long time in between games. 10 p.m. start here on the East Coast. A team with players that mainly are from the West. Not that the 3-hour jet lag impairs much. But as Tom Petty said, the waiting is the hardest part. So Bumpy pitch had to wait a little while before they got to take the turf. And Zaguzzi into Perez, AP20, gets dispossessed. Scrum near both players' benches. And after that check into the boards, you know both teams are spicy, and now things might get a little spicier as Bumpy pitch finds themselves down 2-0. If there's anybody that's going to be a catalyst on this team, it's that man with the ball, Charlie Gonzalez. Charlie Gonzalez is patient, is calm, is poker-faced every time he plays. Comes off the keeper. Keeper interference. Not keeper, official. Excuse me, the official operating as the keeper. Folks, I do apologize. 5 straight games here, so even my creative juices sometimes get caught in a pickle. Briones has been spectacular in between the sticks for LCF. Intercepted and headed back toward Bumpy pitch. Will this be the moment where they strike? No. As that deflection comes off of the tents and over on the field one. Gonzalez into Alami. The Moroccan international tried to spin past his defender, but gets stripped by Michel Zina. Competed with FC St. Gallen. That's a very famous team out of Switzerland. A lot of history there. Alami into Gutierrez. Gutierrez gets it across midfield, but had nowhere to go. And LCF, unforced turnover on their counter attempt. Pass comes into Reyes. Reyes with nowhere to go. Sees Geronimo Martin, the individual who got the scoring started early. Alami into Reyes. Back into the midfield. Gutierrez to Stinson. Stinson, in a rare occasion, gets dispossessed. Credit the LCF Academy's defense. They're really putting the pressure on Bumpy pitch. We're almost halfway through the second half, which means that Bumpy pitch is really going to have to put the pedal to the metal. They're going to look to pull in a couple of goals before we head into target score time. Otherwise, with the way things are going right now, they're going to have to score 3 goals if the game were to hypothetically end this way. Still only 4 shots for LCF. Bumpy with 8 and 6 on target. LCF plays it. The official blowing the whistle, indicating a change of possession. Cerda. into Stinson. Stinson finds Borja. Bumpy still has it on their end of the pitch. The pass into Gonzalez. Gonzalez tries to thread it through Stinson. A shot and a save! Outstanding save by LCF Academy's keeper, Mark Briones. He has been on fire today. The amount of target practice he's seen, this could be it. Borja gets denied again. LCF playing some of the best soccer that I've seen them play in these 2 seasons at TST. On the run, and a goal off the counter for the 3rd time today. LCF scores a goal. LCF. Number 27, Joshua Sumbunu. And Bumpy pitch is stunned. What a goal, what a counter. LCF. Sticking it to the defending champs. Sumbunu played in the lower tiers in Germany, also in the Ballers League in Germany and the United Kingdom. He's actually played across the scope of a lot of these leagues, including the Icon League in Germany for Berlin City. Crowd here stunned as they came to see what the defending champs are made of. Now, with the way things are currently in the standings, Bumpy pitch 2-0. Looking, Leggio FC is currently playing Cardinal Legacy. So we'll keep an eye on that score, because what the result is there will have implications on what happens here. Again, as a reminder, the top 2 teams of each group advance, and then the best 8 that didn't finish in the top 2 of their groups move forward. Perez gets by his defender, but he's held on and taken to the ground just outside of the box. Perez aggressively fought. Leggio FC currently leading Cardinal Legacy by a score of 3-0. So the way it stands, Cardinal Legacy's time at TST will be coming to an end unless they have a dramatic comeback. Cardinal Legacy lost at the hands of Nani FC last year, coming out of the group stages. So free kick opportunity here as Bumpy pitch, desperately needing a goal. 6 minutes to go between now and target score time. LCF is just stuck to their game plan. The shot saved by Briones again. Ball is loose, and there's Bumpy pitch's goal. This time courtesy of Alan Perez. The former Highlander scores, and there's extracurricular activity going on in the net between both teams. Things getting chippy. The official trying to keep things kosher, but just saw a player get pushed and go down. And so there you see the extracurricular activity. We don't have the benefit of seeing it on our replay end, but you obviously can with YouTube. Circle back. Just trying to get visual confirmation as who's down on the ground as things got ugly momentarily. So I'm being told that it is Diran Mehmet Gunoy who's down on the ground. Now the goal will still stand, courtesy of Alan Perez as he breaks through. The former Highlander, the only goal scorer today for Bumpy pitch. And we're hearing the fans in the stands. Well, we wanted some energy and some adrenaline in this final game of the night. And we're getting it right now. Crowd screaming some languages and some words that I dare not repeat on a family-friendly broadcast. And so, Darren Gunoy.
The referee has also assessed a yellow card on number 12, Jose Gonzalez, for Bumpy pitch.
Bumpy pitches. Jose Gonzalez, Bebe Gonzalez is going to get issued a yellow card. Just waiting to hear from our public address announcer and from the official if anything else. And so The defending champs claw one back, which means that their efforts and target score time will not need 4 goals as a result, but 3 is still quite a bit. Well, the official coming back onto the pitch.
Referee has also assessed a yellow card on LCF's bench.
So the LCF bench was handed a yellow card. Not sure how much that's going to impact them. But we play on. Things for a quick second almost got ugly, and it goes back to that shoulder check from LCF to Bumpy pitch towards the end of the first half. So the clock's still continuing to run here, but even though we're only 3 minutes away from the end of the half, we're going to continue to play a little more because a lot of time has expired. And so what I'm being told is that Bebe Gonzalez tried to get the ball out of the net and rush it towards the midfield so Bumpy pitch can resume. And from what I've heard is the fact that the LCF Academy players are not letting him get by, which is what led to the extracurricular activities. And so the official trying to keep things under control here. And look, we talked about it at the top of the broadcast. $1 million is enough to put on some huge competitive fires. Another attempt and a goal. The quick answer. LCF 4-1. It's been all Lake Constance Football Academy this evening. Just as Alden Perez clawed one back for Bumpy pitch, LCF with a quick response. 4-1 now the score. LCF Academy, their best performance in 2 TSTs. That goes without saying.
That goal was scored by number 19.
So number 19, the player who was taken down on the goal line, Diren Gunay, he gets the credit for the goal. So talk about a response. Every action causes an equal, if not bigger, reaction. And that reaction from LCF Academy is the 4th goal of the evening. 4-1, and it's going to be pretty hard for Bumpy pitch in target score time. It's not impossible, but 4 goals is certainly asking a lot. Unless they can collect and connect with one. Borja, the turnaround. Stinston and Cardenas trying to fly into the box. The shot by Lara. And Martin Lara off the mark. So on our clock, it states they're about 30 seconds away from 18 minutes, but the game's not going to end in regulation that way. Probably a good 3-4, maybe even close to 5 minutes is what expired off the clock as the referee was just trying to get things squared away. LCF in absolute command and control, beating Bumpy pitch, counter after counter. 4 goals conceded by Brandon Gomez and his back line and his Bumpy pitch teammates. Taken down inside the box. And a yellow card. Things starting to unravel for the defending champs. As LCF Academy now with an opportunity to really put this one out of reach. Substitutions getting ready to check back onto the field. Bumpy pitch led by their head coach, Tino Nunez. Tino had played in Major League Soccer and is the head coach at Long Beach Community College.
A yellow card on number 10, Juan Carlos Gonzalez.
So Charlie Gonzalez is going to get hit with the yellow card.
And as it says, a penalty kick.
And a penalty kick now for LCF. And it looks like it is Salih Hamidžić looking for goal number 5 of the day. The shot, saved by Gomez. And another attempt sails wide and hits the dasher. Excellent save by Brandon Gomez. Salihamidzic had a moment to really stick his claws into Bumpy pitch. But as sports goes, as momentum starts to change directions, perhaps that save by Gomez can get that extra spark towards his teammates. And now more extracurriculars. Charlie just got bumped and another yellow card displayed. And that's going to go against on Diren Gunay. As he was, Diren was hanging on. Yeah, the official is going to have to really get this one under control here because these two teams are fiery. You'd hate to see it really get any uglier than it's gotten. And Charlie Gonzalez had an extra bump to Diren Gunay. He did not take kindly to that shove, and he's still chirping as Gunay is going to get pulled by his head coach, and probably for the better. As even Salihamidzic just trying to have a conversation with Charlie Gonzalez, and he wasn't having any of it. That should make for a very spicy target score time. Could this be the switch that flips for Bumpy pitch? Well, we shall see. Because so far they've given their fans not much to look forward to in this game. Gutierrez just misses, gets it, deflects. The shot sails just above the crossbar. Missed opportunity for Inza, and the official blows the whistle, and that is the end of regulation. And at this point, we head into target score time, where the target score is 5. For LCF, they just need 1 goal to win. For Bumpy pitch, that's a lot more goals that they need to score than LCF do. With target score time, the way the rules work is, as stated, the target score is 5. The team that gets to 5 wins the contest. LCF just needs 1. Now, both teams will have 7 players on the pitch. And after 3 minutes, if the target score has not been reached, players from each side will get pulled, and we go from 7v7 to 6v6. And we recycle, rinse, repeat, and go again. 3 minutes, if no player or no target score has been established, 3 minutes goes by, we go to 5v5. And the new rule this year is the backfield violation. Last year it was identified that 32% of TST moments resulted in 2v2, which means the games were taking a lot longer. Fans wanted to see the action. Fans wanted to see the excitement. More importantly, fans wanted to see those goals. And so the backfield violation rule was implemented. And so team brings the ball into play, starting on their defensive end of the pitch. They've got 15 seconds to get it across midfield. Just like basketball, once they cross midfield, they can't go backwards. If they do go backwards, well, that's a violation, and then the possession changes to the opposition. So less than a minute to go before we start target score time. And this has been a spicy affair. Spiciest affair that I've gotten to see so far here at TST. So Leggio wins by a healthy margin. So just as a reminder, the top 2 teams out of the group stages advance, and then the best 8 that were not in the top 2 move forward. And so things could get interesting. We still needed to determine who the last number of the top 8 So the way it's going to look, potentially Bumpy pitch goes from being in first to falling to third, especially with that win from Leggio. And sorry, we're buffering a few things and ironing out a few details here. All kinds of madness going on in this final game of the evening. And here we are, back up to snuff, back up to speed. And here we go. Target score time underway. 7v7. Top two, just as a reminder, top two of the groups move forward, and then the best 8 of the groups that didn't finish in the top two. So bumpy pitch at this point. Going to lose sole possession of first place. Again, what a performance by LCF Academy. Serda gets it poked away. Bumpy pitch maintained possession on their end. 4 goals is what they need. The cross inside the box. Misfired by Gutierrez. Now the champs have to go back to playing defense. LCF just needing 1 goal to win. Bumpy pitch, needs to score a few. And so players heading towards the benches, we're going to get a number of new, fresh legs back onto the field. What a way to cap off what's been a glorious but long day 2 here at TST. Trying to find Borja's bumpy pitch. Serda back into Gomez. And Gomez into Charlie. Charlie fired up after the extracurricular activity we saw to close out the second half. Bumpy pitch, desperately needing to claw back a goal or two. Into the box. Borja turns around. And Briones falls on it, but Borja regains it. Stinson just got pushed off the ball. Not sure the official caught that, as it was Juan Antonio Gallego who pushed Justin right by that touchline. Into Borja. Just as bumpy pitch was mounting a promising attack. Oh, we absolutely can see tempers flaring today. And another yellow card.
Referee has assessed a yellow card.
Officials have been very busy today.
Christian Martinez Borja.
And it was Borja
Bumpy pitch.
with bumpy pitch, just that aggressive strike into the dasher board. So we are just about at the end of the 7v7. As it is going to be LCF putting it into play. At this point, the official blows the whistle, makes the motion, and 1 player gets removed from each team. So 7v7 goes into 6v6. So now it starts to get interesting, and with the more players getting removed, and with a lot of these arena players knowing how to play the power play, it's something that they do a lot in arena soccer. The advantage could quickly fall in favor of bumpy pitch. But it's going to need to start happening soon. Because LCF just in absolute control. Because of that deflection, no backfield violation in the 15-second resume. And we saw Serda shoulder his man off the ball. And yeah, the official has a lot to contend with here today. Serda looking to show some sportsmanship. As the trainers are being called for from LCF. I know you fans at home are spicy right now, in particular you bumpy pitch fans. Bumpy pitch has made a couple of mistakes that have led into LCF Academy goals. And just with the way the fixtures are working out here in Group A, this is going to come down to the wire as Leggio FC put 5 goals on a Cardinal legacy. And tiebreakers are going to be important to see which teams are going to get to advance. So the tiebreaker scenario has changed up this year. And I'll get you the clarification on that in just a second. Cerda still hovering by the man who he knocked down, and he's apologizing. He's just getting fired up. Look, both teams just fighting for that spot to compete for $1 million. And so standing up, it looks like it's number 42 or 43. It's Steven Kodra from LCF Academy, former Baller League player who competed in Germany. It's the first player to score in Ballers League, by the way, in the United Kingdom and the United States. So it is going to be Cerda set to put the ball back into play. We've seen it all these last 2 days. Incredible goals, feistiness. For those who didn't tune or get to tune into the Home Run Derby because it wasn't televised, it's Club America's Miguel Layun who would end up winning it, in case anybody was curious. So instead of it being Cerda, it's going to be Gonzalez. So the rules, if you're looking them up, and don't utilize the ChatGPT, the tiebreakers have changed, and I'm going to try to quickly pull them up for you. Because tiebreakers, it's important for y'all and for all of us to know exactly how the tiebreakers work. But until then, Martin Lara nearly pushes it past Briones, who's just been on absolute fire today for LCF Academy. Well, Brandon Gomez now coming in as the extra attacker. Brandon Gomez has banged in some goals from distance here at TST. As he passes it over to Cerda. Cerda regains possession after the pass from Borja. And that's going to sail out of play as Brandon Gomez flies over to pick it up. So Gomez puts it in towards Charlie Gonzalez. Charlie Golasso looking for one. Normally a very even-keeled player. There's a turnover. Could this be it? Could this be when LCF Academy strikes? The pass in, saved by Gomez. And it was Salihamidzic with the attempt that Gomez denies. So the tiebreakers, as I have it, it was head-to-head last year. Head-to-head's not the top play this year. It's the greater goal diff, total goals scored within a group stage. Well, total goals scored is the second most important part of the tiebreaker. The greater goal diff is number one. Then followed by head-to-head, and then a penalty kick shootout would be four, which is not something that we've seen at TST before. So there you have it in terms of the tiebreakers. So backfield violation for LCF. And now it's going to be Bumpy pitch, potentially looking for their second goal of the game. The only goal scored so far, courtesy of Alan Perez. Will it be Charlie trying to take the offensive workload himself, or will he try to fire it in, connecting with a target forward? Briones was suspiciously very far to his left, now pretty far to the right. Charlie Gonzalez could easily curl it any direction. Lara, back to Charlie. Tries to find it inside the box. The pass out to Cardenas. Cardenas into Charlie. Charlie shoots, and it gets deflected out by LCF. Great kick save by a player who's not the keeper.
The referee has signaled 2 more players.
So 3 more minutes have expired.
5-on-5.
And now we go from 6v6 to 5-on-5.
First to 5 will win the match.
So target score, just because we've hung out here for a little while, as a reminder, is 5. Cerda to Gomez. Gomez, who denied Salihamidzic on a free kick. He shoots and just misses. The net trickled, but a valiant effort by Gomez. And now LCF regains it. The turnover picked right back up by Bumpy Pitch. It's Nzaguzzi once again the aggressor. Cerda has it. Tries to find Gutierrez. Gutierrez to his right. Pass back to Cerda. Putting on the brakes and resetting. Back to Gomez. Ina Gonzalez. Pass back to Gomez, who had the rocket moments ago. From that distance, Brandon Gomez is a very dangerous sniper. Pass back to Brandon. Into Cerda. Cerda weighing his options. Decides to reset, goes back to Gomez. Gomez to Chargo. Gomez is hugging that midfield line. Walking a tightrope. For those just tuning in right now, your eyes do not deceive you. LCF currently beating the defending champs by a score of 4-1. At one point, Bumpy Pitch made it 3-1, and then a quick response for LCF Academy. I know those who were watching the Leggio Cardinal Legacy game are very interested in what's going to happen here, with now this officially being the final game of the evening. No more games going on as we speak. This is it, the final countdown, as the band Europe would say. Back into Gomez. About 30 seconds away from another player getting removed. Lara to Chargo. Just looking to catch LCF with a mistake. Gonzalez! And just like Brandon Gomez moments ago, just barely misses. The soccer gods are not favoring Bumpy Pitch this evening. As Gunoy goes back, you see how aggressively now Bumpy Pitch is trying to press. Shot takes a deflection off of Cerda. It's going to stay on this end of the field. Official blows the whistle. One more player is going to come off now. So now we're down to 4v4. With that target score remaining at 5, of course the target score is not going to change. It's still going to remain 5. No goals have been scored in target score time yet. And Bumpy Pitch having a bumpy road here in the final game of the group stages. Good crowd hanging out here as we're getting late into the evening here in the East Coast. After 11 p.m. LCF pulls their keeper. Now they have an extra attacker. Can LCF take advantage of a Bumpy Pitch team that's in desperation mode? And they too are going to go back and forth, trying to find that seam, trying to find that opening, as Gutierrez and Cardenas are the last lines of defense before it is Brandon Gomez. The pass inside the box. And LCF now resets their offense. Some back and forth we go, wearing the extra attacker jersey. From my vantage point, looks like 17 Juan Antonio Gallego. The shot almost skirts through, but Gomez gets his hands on the ball. What an attempt. Close call. Crisis averted for Bumpy Pitch. Those tuning into Switzerland, certainly thank you watching this game. LCF Academy looking to upset the defending champs. What an eye popper this would be if this result goes in favor of LCF. As the game started, it was really Bumpy pitch that controlled possession. Just capitalizing on one quick mistake. It was number 11, Geronimo Martin. Then the floodgates opened for LCF as they put back two more before Bumpy pitch had a response. And then as Bumpy pitch had the response, another quick goal for LCF. Gutierrez plays defensively. Very hard to get by defenders like Golden Gutierrez and Cardenas. For those tuning in over on the West Coast, particular our friends in the Inland Empire in San Diego, just saying hello to you. Been a little while since we got to hang out together. Feels like old times. Gonzalez to Gomez. Gomez, best 7 last year in TST with his saves, not to mention the goals that he scored in target score time. Look for Gomez to be that sniper. And look for the facilitator to be that man, Charlie Gonzalez. Back over to Gomez. Pushes it to his right. Gonzalez in the box. Waiting for a defender to come attack. And the goal! Bumpy pitch claws one back and cuts this lead into the half. 4-2. Martin Lara gets the goal. And as stated, Charlie Gonzalez, the facilitator, he's going to have to be the catalyst. So Bumpy pitch now only needs 3 more goals. I say that tongue-in-cheek, only 3 more goals. We may end up getting to 2v2 here, as this is the furthest I've seen any teams get in target score time. 4v4 for me personally was the most. Now we're 3v3. Now, for those unaware, the individual wearing the extra attacker jersey can function as a keeper, meaning if they're in the box on the other end, they can handle it with their hands. Bumpy pitch has Gutierrez. Cerda on one end with Gomez. The only place in the world where real estate becomes abundant is at TST when we get down to this few men on the pitch. And at this point, it's just a back-and-forth effort. Gutierrez and Cerda going to have their work cut out for them here. Can they force a turnover? At this point, mistakes can be very costly. Back and forth, LCF goes. Where they stop, none of us know. We are in the anxious moments. Almost halfway through this 3v3 before we go 2v2. Pass inside the box for LCF. As they are working Cerda and Gutierrez back and forth, left and right. And that's going to come out of play. Gutierrez thinks it came off of LCF. And so Cerda and Gutierrez are now going to get a break. Bumpy pitch. Going to bring on some new fresh legs as Gomez retreats to the Pine Pony as well. So it's Charlie Gonzalez wearing the pink penny. I believe it's Martin Lara by the midfield. And then their running mate wearing number 30, Inza. If it keeps going this way, this favors Bumpy pitch. Completely comfortable in these power play opportunities. And members of the San Diego Sockers, they were one of the best power play teams in the Major Arena Soccer League last year in terms of scoring goals. Quite a few Sockers on Bumpy pitch. Quite a few strikers, too. Only 2 defenders. Gonzalez just outside of the box. Into Inza. Back over to Charlie. As Charlie skirts past the official. Hits it off the post. Not a paint chipper, but off the post. And Briones. That was close. Now we've gone to two. Now we go to 2v2. Oh my gosh. For all that are still tuning in here on the East Coast, thank you. What a game this is. We truly have seen everything today. So 2v2. Gonzalez and Lara for Bumpy pitch. Briones the keeper for LCF. Just trying to get that visual confirmation as to who the other player is for LCF. Final game of the night. Gonzalez. Gonzalez scores! Charlie Gonzalez puts the third one on the scoreboard for Bumpy pitch. Now they only need 2 more goals. Bumpy pitch chipping into this lead. What a crazy game this is turning out to be. Down by as much as 4-1. Bumpy pitch have pulled 2 more back. But now it's going to be up to Cerda and Gomez to apply that pressure on LCF Academy. Can LCF hang on to this upset? Because it really has been the entire game that they've controlled. Cerda fighting aggressively. He's going to get called for the foul. So a fixing of the boot. I believe that is number 11. Is that 11 Geronimo Martin? It is. Geronimo Martin, the first goal scorer today. After what was a low-scoring game to start, we've now been privy to 7 goals between the two sides. Haven't seen 2v2 yet. This might only be the second time we've had it at TST this go-around, particularly because of the backfield violation. Backfield violation rule. Out comes Gomez. Gomez! And the game winner! LCF Academy score it. It is done. Nick Salihamidzic with the game winner, and LCF Academy secure the upset. What a performance. What a game for the crew out of Eastern Switzerland. Bumpy pitch just fell too far behind and really had to do the proverbial throwing everything and the kitchen sink at the opposition. But when you fall into 2v2, anything can happen. Real quick, let's just go over the final stats for you. I know y'all are eager for it. 11 shots for LCF, 10 of them on goal. For Bumpy pitch, 22 shots with 13 on goals. But the only stat that matters is the scoreline, 5-3. And congratulations to LCF Academy. They get the win over Bumpy Pitch FC by a score of 5-3. That'll wrap it up for us tonight here on Field 2 from Wake Met Soccer Park. We thank you so much for tuning in to the TST on YouTube, and we'll see you tomorrow for the knockout stages. Have a good night and enjoy the rest of your Thursday.